Delicious in the house. Glad to see you today. I'm really excited because I want to do one of my all-time favorites. And do you know what this is? Yep, that's right. This is the finest Iranian saffron, the most precious, the most expensive, and finest spice in the world. One of my favorite spices. I love the antiseptic flavor it gives and the amazing color, and it has quite a few health benefits. I got this from a special friend. You know who you are. Thank you so much, along with some other goodies, to congratulate me on my new cooking channel. Now, isn't that sweet? So with this recipe, I hope I will do the saffron, the rice, and Iran justice. I know I'm German, but I've researched how to do the rice. I've been doing it for years. I've talked to Iranians about it, and I hope that I will do everything the way it should be. If not, forgive me. I'm putting my own twist on it. I'm making a combination of rice with tahdig. That's the classic Iranian rice with the crust on top. You bake it and then you flip it over, and then I'm going to combine it with jeweled rice. Jeweled rice has some add-ons like this amazing orange peel and carrots and roasted nuts, and we're going to put the two together. Normally you don't make the jeweled rice with the crust, but in this case, hey, that's my own personal twist. So bear with me and let's get right to the ingredients. First step is you want to soak your rice, not just to remove the starch so the kernels will be separated, but also to remove possible arsenic, which is quite a health threat. The best way to do this is soak overnight in plenty of cold water, or at least for 2 hours. As far as basmati brands, I have researched years ago over and over and over, and I've tried and tested different kinds of rice. Of course, starting with Tilda, that everyone knows. Tilda is not a bad rice at all. I like the flavor of it, but it's not the longest grain. And I had some rice that was self-proclaimed the longest grain ever. It had a really, really disgusting flavor to it. I don't know if it was some kind of residue or it was disgusting, and it definitely wasn't long. So I was happy to accidentally run into this kind of rice at the call shop here in my town in Landshut, and this has proven to be the best time and time again. Other than the rice, we need the following ingredients. The star of the dish is definitely this high quality Iranian saffron that I got from a friend in Berlin. Thank you so much for surprising me with this awesome gift. Then we need some carrots. This is a huge one. Then we need some oranges. We will need the peel of the bitter oranges to be caramelized with some sugar and some orange blossom water. I don't have barberries, which are typically Iranian. I hate their taste. They are like goji berries, which I also hate. So I'm using these sour cherries instead that I bought and didn't like because they were so sour. Then I don't have any raisins. I'm using currants instead. And instead of the slivered almonds, which I'm intolerant of, I'm using some pistachios. And then I will throw in a few cardamom seeds into the water for boiling the rice, just because I am a sucker for cardamom. Is to blanch the finely chopped orange peel in some boiling water for a couple of minutes to remove the bitterness. Once the orange peel has been blanched, it's a spitting image of carrots. You really can confuse the two. If you come to an Iranian or Afghan restaurant for the first time, you may mistake them for carrots by the looks of them. Now it's time for business. Rice really is a science in Iran, and I think it's holy to them. So I hope I'm doing it justice. Now you have to rinse your rice until the liquid runs clear. Usually I do about 3, 4, or even 5 rounds of draining the water and then filling it back up and rinsing it. Now my water for the rice is almost boiling. It's heavily salted. I'm throwing in those cardamom pods and the rice. And it's very important that you only cook this rice for 4 minutes. You don't want the rice done, you want it halfway done so that we can then steam it in the pot with the heat and just the moisture that's in the rice already. So no additional water after boiling here. Here you can see how long the rice grains have grown. It's hard to catch them, but I think you get a pretty good idea. And we're about to take it. I've drained the rice. We really don't want to waste too much time here. Make sure you salt it now, salt it well, and then we'll move over to the stove to make the famous Tahdig crust and the le Kruste. So I'm using this pot now because I think it's the perfect pot to store the heat and to achieve great results, but it's the first time I'm using it, so keep your fingers crossed that everything works out the way I'm used to having it. Now we're slowly going to bring this up to heat because the le Kruste is a bit sensitive and it doesn't like to be shocked with high heat or cold temperatures. I'm using German Streichbutter here. That's butter that already has rapeseed oil integrated into it so it won't burn. And now once the butter has melted, I turned down the heat, and now we have to layer the rice into this pot. Make sure you don't press it down. Make sure it's light and airy, and you just gently put the rice into its pot. I found it best to use a large spoon for this process, so you can just gently lay down your rice. This will be a rather small batch. My kids don't eat that much. And I don't want to be stuck with a carb overload. Now, if you can find it, take out your cardamom pods now. So just gently, gently, with a lot of love and passion, spread this rice around. And now, get a dish towel. Where's my dish towel? Hold on. Bring the stove back up to high heat. Normally I go at full speed or at least 3/4 and start cooking your rice until you see the steam coming out. You can already hear it. It doesn't take long. Once you think that it's going to burn, you turn it down, but we're still on pretty high heat because we have to form that luscious, delicious, famous crust at the bottom. Now I know it's hard to go through that without meddling with the rice and checking how brown it is, but you cannot by any means touch it or stir it. What you want to do next is take a wooden spoon like this and poke some holes all the way through to the bottom. That's the only meddling allowed, so the steam has room to escape later. Now cover the pot with a dish towel and put the lid on. I usually go like this to make sure that the moisture is all sealed in there, and continue to fry it at a rather high temperature for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then we turn it down to super low heat and let it sit for about 30 minutes to work the magic. Meanwhile, I've added my orange peel to a pan with a little oil. Also added saffron water. That means the ground saffron with some hot water, some orange blossom water, some sugar. As I said, my carrots and orange peel. The flavors are off the charts. They are just heavenly. And now we're going to saute this for a bit until the liquid has evaporated. Then add a cup of water and cook it for another 10 minutes. I'm reserving some of the syrup from the carrot orange peel mixture, and I put it in with the saffron water, and we're later going to flavor the rice with it. In a tiny bit of rapeseed oil, we're now going to fry off the pistachios with the sour cherries and the currants until the currants and the cherries have puffed up and the pistachios are slightly roasted. It's close to time to get the rice out, and before we do so, I'm going to drizzle on saffron water and mix it gently with the upper part. Just fluff it up without destroying the crust. And now we're gonna tip it over onto a plate. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay guys, it's showdown time. Are you ready? You know, flipping over this rice is pretty much like having a new relationship. You never really know what kind of man you got until you get to the bottom of things, you know? So, I'm gonna put my plate on top of my pot, grab some of these so I won't burn myself. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom! So I heard the plop. That means our rice cake came out in one piece. And now let's see what we got ourselves here. Wow, okay, I messed it up a bit. That always happens when you get on camera. Sorry about that. Should have been in the middle. I don't really know what happened. Anyway, in German we call this a Vorführ effect, something like Murphy's Law. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, even though it seems like a bit of work, but trust me, it is so worth it. And please try to expand your culinary horizon, to expand your personal flavor profile by trying something new, trying a new cuisine from a different culture. You will really, really be rewarded, and you will fall in love with the new spices and the flavor explosions they create. So thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe, stay sweet, and see you next time on Veggielicious, because Veggielicious is delicious. Bye!